Okay, let's get into it. Today we're doing a deep dive on a specific piece of hardware. The WolfPack 4K 60 1x4 HDMI splitter uses CAT6 cables, goes up to 100 feet.
Right. And our mission here, if you will, is really to break down what it does based on the specs and the vendor info. We're looking at how it solves a pretty common problem.
Yeah, getting high-res video, like really high-res, to multiple places without, a crazy mess of wires.
Exactly. So the core idea is pretty straightforward. You take one HDMI source, could be anything, media player, laptop, whatever, and it splits that signal perfectly to 4 different screens at the same time.
And perfect is the key word here. We're talking 4K resolution, 4K by 2K specifically, running at 60 frames per second. 60 hertz.
Which is smooth. And doing that over distance is the tricky part. Here it's 30 meters, so about 100 feet.
Using just a single CAT6 network cable for each display, not some exotic, expensive fiber, just standard CAT6, maybe 6A or 7.
That's really key. Pushing uncompressed 4K 60 that far over copper, that needs some clever engineering inside, active equalization, things like that, to avoid signal loss.
Definitely. They tackle that technical challenge, but maybe the biggest aha for anyone installing this stuff is how simple it makes the actual setup.
You're thinking about the power, right, the PC.
Exactly. Power over cable. That's a huge deal in the field.
It really is. So you only plug in one power adapter, just one. And that goes on the main box, the transmitter, which is usually, back with your source gear.
Right, in the rack or closet.
And then the 4 receiver units, the ones actually behind the screens, maybe 100 feet away, they get their power through that same KT6 cable that's carrying the video. No local power needed at the display end.
Think about that for a second. If you've ever had to find 4 outlets near 4 displays or run separate power lines, it's a nightmare. This PC cuts out so much hassle, less wiring, fewer points of failure. It's honestly brilliant.
It simplifies things massively.
Yeah.
And they didn't stop there with convenience. There are other nice touches, like the transmitter itself has an HDMI loop-out port.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you can plug a small monitor right there at the source.
Exactly, to check the signal before it even goes out to the remote screens. Essential for troubleshooting or just confirmation.
Makes sense. What about controlling the source if it's tucked away in a closet?
They thought of that too. It supports IR passback, 20 to 60 kilohertz range, so your standard remote.
Yep.
You point it at the receiver near the far display, and those IR commands travel back over the CT6 cable to the transmitter, which then controls your source device.
Okay, that is pretty neat. So you keep the familiar remote control functionality even when the source is hidden.
Plus, it's plug and play. They say it's wall mountable, just practical features.
And there's one more thing mentioned in the specs that's quite significant depending on the job. TAA compliance.
Ah, yes, TAA, Trade Agreements Act. That's not just fluff. For you listening, this means the product is made either in the U.S. or in specific designated countries.
Which is a hard requirement for a lot of government contracts, military installations, sometimes large corporations too. It limits where you can source from.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So being TAA compliant opens doors for this particular splitter in those, let's say, more demanding professional or regulated environments.
Right. And knowing the part number, HDTV 714 Pro, and seeing the price listed today at $150, it positions it. It's not a cheap consumer gadget. It's aimed at that pro AV market, built for conference rooms, exhibition halls, places like that.
Exactly as the use cases suggest. So wrapping it up, you've got this high-res 4K 60 signal. You've got a decent distance, 100 feet. But the real synthesis here is pushing the power, the video signal, and the control signals all down one standard network cable.
It's a convergence that simplifies everything, which kind of leads to a bigger thought, doesn't it? Well, if we can reliably run power and high bandwidth 4K video and control over common copper like this, how long until dedicated power outlets for AV gear become, almost obsolete in new installs? Could P3 just take over entirely for most distribution?
That's a really interesting question to ponder. How far can we push this convergence on standard infrastructure?
Something for you to think about next time you're planning a video distribution setup.